the company's performance, the entire company's performance, is influenced by their founder's psychology, by the founder's mental state, by the founder's personality, by the team cohesiveness, but the team fitness. Where are we at right now? The company is constantly influenced by that, and the business result is influenced by that.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Noa Matz, sponsored by Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Turing, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and in media partnership with CTech. In running a startup, it may not always just be that analytical thinking or decision-making that makes you succeed or fail. A lot of it is about the partnership. It's about the journey, the process. Meet Noa Matz, operating partner at F2 Venture Capital. Noa is an operating partner at F2. She has dedicated her career to understanding startup founding team dynamics and coaching founders for peak performance. She is an expert in performance enhancement and coaching for startup teams and executives, guiding them through change to take high-risk decisions in stressful and uncertain conditions. Noa Matz, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders.
Welcome. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
We're in the beautiful F2 Capital offices.
Exactly. Back at the office.
Back at the office,
Yeah.
Post-COVID. Operating partner, startup psychologist.
Right.
Before we even get to your journey, what does that even mean? Both operating partner and startup psychologist. I don't know either.
Okay. So startup psychologist is branding, is a form of myself branding what I do, since in training I'm a social psychologist. And in the past few years, I became an expert in the psychology of startups. Each psychologist has his own niche. Yes, what you were aiming to ask something?
Startup was psychologist of startups. I know psychologist of people. I love going to a psychologist, but what does it mean, psychologist of startups?
It means that the founder's psychology is crucial for startup success. And we in F2, we understand that. And we constantly say that the company's performance, the entire company's performance, is influenced by their founder's psychology, by the founder's mental state, by the founder's personality, by the team cohesiveness, but the team fitness. Where are we at right now? The company is constantly influenced by that, and the business result is influenced by that. So as a startup psychologist, I have two main, now operating partner as well. I have two main jobs, goals, pre-investment and post-investment. Pre-investment is to get to know very, very well the founders in which we invest and allow them to know us before an investment. And also post-investment, which is the fun, most rewarding aspect of my work, is to walk this path with our founders, be their sounding board, their first phone call, whatever you like to call it, when things go wrong, but also when things are just growing and they need a people person. Mm-hmm. So we can talk about this more.
So I do know that, in the due diligence process, especially in early stage, the team is everything, right? You want to see the cohesiveness, you want to see the founder mentality, the resilience. I'm not too aware of what happens post the investment. So I get that you're an integral part of the due diligence, but then how do you actually work with the companies post-investment to help maintain the strong cohesiveness and resilience?
Okay, so first I need to build the trust and the relationship, the bond with the founders, because it's not something that is easy or trivial.
Yeah.
Right, it's not trivial to have those kind of conversation with your investor, to get to know your investor and have your investor get to know you to those kind of levels. So first, we need to build the trust and the communication. And we start by talking about the future, about the vision, about building the team, about the objective results, things that are more tangible and not as soft. Mm-hmm. And then we build our relationships for months, for sometimes years. And then we get to a point where when things go wrong, or when they have a big dilemma, or when they have an issue with their co-founders, or when they have a managerial dilemma, which happens every day, or where they have some kind of difficulty or challenge with their investor, could be one of my partners, that could also happen, then they will come to me and we'll try to fix it together. We will try to talk about it and understand the problem, look at the problem from different angles, put a question mark on this problem. Is it a problem? Is this problem what I thought it is? Do I actually have the tools to deal with this problem, although I thought I didn't have? Or for example, let's give a tangible example. We're in the middle of a founding round. We want to raise our A round, and then we got churned by a customer. I currently have 4 customers, and one of them churned. It's 25% churn. Now that could be a very, very stressful event for a founder. And now the question mark that we need to put on this situation is allow him to rephrase it. Is this the end of my career? Is this the end of this startup, because now we got 25% churn? It's a big problem, no doubt.
Right.
But we will have to rephrase it in order for him or her to be able to deal with this problem.
What I'm hearing you say is that there's one layer of looking at things very analytically. Mm-hmm. One customer turned, 25% churn rate, that's not good. But what you're saying, actually, there's many more layers to this event that's happening. Mm-hmm. And you're also raising question marks, saying, is this actually, why did they churn? Maybe is this relevant actually to is this actually a part of the statistic? Maybe it's an anomaly. Or maybe the way that you're thinking about this as a founder shouldn't prohibit you from moving on and waking up tomorrow with the same energy and mentality. Mm-hmm. And that's where the psychology enters, right? Right.
So the psychology of the founder when he steps in the room, his mindset is of challenge. The sky's falling. Yeah. We're not gonna make it. This one I'm not gonna be able to solve. This is too much. That's it. 25% churn in the middle of a founding round. This is not something we can solve.
Right.
My job is to help him exit the room feeling that, okay, I can deal with it. I can deal with it. We didn't fix the problem, but we fixed his mindset. So now he feels like he's able to deal with it.
Now, I'm guessing that a lot of the times founders don't even feel comfortable expressing these emotions in front of, let alone their investors, right, who might join the next round, who might bring on the next investors.
Right.
So I guess one of the challenges here is you have to build that trust, mm-hmm, so that they feel comfortable in your office expressing those difficult emotions, which I'm sure that everybody has. We just don't talk about it, right?
Right. That's true. So with previous investments, I've been with this fund, with F2, for 3 years as an external consultant. Mm-hmm. When I had my own team diligence, my own company, I used to give consultancy services to VCs and startups. In the past few months now, I've been officially full-time part of the fund. I'm a partner in the fund. So in new investments, I feel like it's easier because I get to build a relationship with our founders from day one.
Right.
And I get to give them the sense from day one that this is your home. This is where you can throw chairs at each other. This is where you can cry. This is where you can fight. This is where you can say, I'm weak today. This is where you can take off the mask. Oh. You can be yourself. We don't judge you. Vice versa. We know it's there. So you might as well just talk about it and let's help you. I'm not sure if solving it, but let's help you get to an emotional space where you can deal with the world. So now it's easier for me with previous investments that I wasn't officially part of the fund, and some investment that I wasn't even here at all when we took them. It was much, much more challenging.
Because you have to change a relationship halfway.
Right.
Instead of building it from the foundation up.
Exactly. Exactly. So now it's way easier and much more natural for everyone.
Now, I know quite a few VCs by now, and mm-hmm, I don't think I came across many mm-hmm startup psychologists or this figure within a venture capital fund, but it makes perfect sense to me. Mm-hmm. You want them to feel comfortable. You want them to be a part and to feel that they can share the information because it also helps you help them, right?
Right.
Why is this not a common thing?
Right.
Why?
So you've touched an interesting point. When you say the older generation of VCs there's this, how do you say, distance. In Hebrew, it's distance, like in the military.
Yeah.
There's a distance between the investor and the founder.
Right.
And there's a game to be played.
Yeah.
To be played. And we all play the game of smiling and happy faces and all is good in the world. And we share what we need to share. Even if we lose, if we fail, if the numbers are not good enough, we don't have a choice. We need to share it in the board, hoping that it's not going to do too much of a damage to us. I feel like that's the old world. That's the old school. The new age of venture capitalists is understanding that this is not going to work. Or it's going to work much better, much more efficient, much more successful if we're just gonna put it out there and talk the truth, what is really going on in the world, what is really going on in your world, in your soul, in your company.
Right.
And I think this is the trend, and we're gonna start seeing this. I'm pretty unique. We do have it. For example, in the U.S., there is a fund called Khosla Ventures.
Mm-hmm.
They have an operating partner, which he used to be a CEO. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. He used to be. He was an operator. Okay. He wasn't. He's not a psychologist or is not a mental health expert. But his job is to do what I do. But he's not a psychologist. Like he's a previously CEO and he used to have his own companies. He's coming here to work with the companies, to work with the founders.
Right.
But a mental health specialist, it's not very common to have.
Right. Do you expect it to become more common? Let's say we think 5-10 years down the line.
Definitely. Most definitely. I see how much traction I'm getting. Psychologists, they want to step into this world from here and from the world. And how much investors are interested to understand what am I doing and how can they do it in their funds.
Right.
So yes, definitely. And it's needed.
Right.
It's needed.
Now, you did a master's in social psychology, right? Back then, did you know that you're destined to join one of the top VCs here in Israel? Was this like the grand plan for Noa?
Yeah, well, definitely one of the best Israeli VC funds. Most definitely, that's first. Now, after we got that right, no, I didn't know that, but I followed my intuition, which I do quite often, and I followed my strengths, and I took some could seem strange decisions to the person from the outside.
Give me one.
To launch a business at age of, how old was I? 26, 7?
Out of the masters.
Out of the masters, yeah.
It's not a very common thing to do, I guess.
No, I had experience, but not experience as a business owner. And it has so many meanings to it, so many responsibilities to it. Not only being a psychologist, you have to know how to do many other things. And I always followed my intuition and my gut. I didn't know this is what I'm going to do, but I always knew that I have to combine business and psychology in some way. I always knew that I'm not the kind of psychologist that can sit in the same chair, same sofa all day, which I'm not. And that's amazing for me that I have the freedom to be creative and move and be dynamic and choose what I want to do every day.
We moved 4 rooms until we got here. I can see the movement.
That happens a lot here because we have so many people here all the time. The F2 environment is such an environment that allows you to be who you are, trust you, to be the best version of yourself, bring them as much value to the fund as you can. And it's such a privilege to be part of this home, this family.
So speaking now to founders.
Yeah.
Early stage, late stage, you choose.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are founders.
Okay.
I see the struggle as a friend. I sit with them for a beer and I can see.
Yeah.
And it is something that I've been contemplating. Why, who do you talk to about this? Like, I don't know anything. I can't really help you much, but why don't you talk to your investors or design partners and they're scared? What tips could you give them, or some insight now that you're seeing the work with a lot of founders? What could the average founder do to help make them feel a little bit better with this?
Wow. First, obviously, the way you choose your partners, the VC fund that you chosen, your partners, your co-founders, the first employees, always prefer to have someone that is like you, that you trust, that you have chemistry with, that you enjoy work with, over the best talent.
Interesting.
Over the best professional talent. Always prefer that. Many times I see that founders tend to say, okay, he is a super talent. He's going to get this product from here to here in 2 months. I'm going to take him over this person that is not such a super talent, superstar, but we feel each other. We love working together. This is much more beneficial to your startup and team over this person.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Right. Now, when it comes to choosing the VCs, I mean, today you get a term sheet from a VC that has a great name. It's very, I can feel the endorphins and the dopamine. Even though I don't have a term sheet, I can already feel how it might feel like. It's very tempting to go for the best name and the best brand, even if you don't have good chemistry with a partner.
Right.
Do you actually think that it's feasible to tell a founder, no, you should actually go for a lower tier VC that is more like you and can be more of a friend?
So I'm not sure if a friend is the right way to phrase it, because many times we're not friends, specifically Johnny and Bach that take board seats in our companies. They're not friends of their founders, but they're here for them. They give them the advice that they need. They guide them. So they're not friends, but they're like mentors, or I think something that's more accurate. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Help make them feel, comfortable with making decisions that, don't conform to the stress of what the TechCrunch articles are saying, or, I have to get to YC because that means that I'm worth something. Well, maybe that's not the right place for me, but society tells me I have to go there.
Okay.
Right? So how do I, as a founder, breathe and deal with this stress and maybe take the non-so-common route and maybe go for somebody who's not as top tier or as noticeable, but is the right partner for me?
So FOMO is one of the psychological biases that are very strong in VC.
Right.
That if there's like a hot deal out there, then we all want to see this hot deal, and it creates FOMO, and then the valuation of the company rises, etc. And that this influences the founders, obviously. And I would suggest the founders to try to get to know the partners, to get to know the investment team, to get to know the fund team members, to try to sense the energy in the office, to have reference calls with
about the VC.
V'vadai, definitely. We always suggest, and we also make the connections, choose whoever you want to talk to. Choose whoever founder you want to talk to. We'll connect you to him or to her. And sure, you have to DD on your investor. You usually can't choose your partner. Who from the partners will sit in your board. But you can definitely choose the fund. And it's very important valuation is obviously a significant aspect in your investment process. But don't choose because of the valuation. Choose for the people, choose for the partners. Don't choose for valuation. Just because one fund gives you higher valuation doesn't mean you have to choose this fund.
Yeah. What is something that you learned over your, 3 years at F2 that is not trivial? That something about, maybe it's about the relationship between founders and their partners or their employees, something about the psychology of an entrepreneur that now in hindsight you said, wow, I didn't think this is how it works.
The psychology of an entrepreneur or the psychology of people?
You choose.
We read it in books.
Yeah.
And we hear it from great managers that talk about how to allow creativity with your people, how to allow people the freedom to dream, to work, to execute. And I see it firsthand today, the way Johnny and Barak are managing the fund. I can actually see what does it mean to be a manager that allows people to walk their own walk, even if it's not your specific walk. It's their walk, and they're doing this walk very well. Let them be. The significance of allowing employees, people, team members, to bring their own true self, to bring their own creativity, if you've chosen them and you trust them and they provide value and they're good professionals, let them be. And don't this hug bear.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't micromanage. Let them be themselves. So that's something that I've learned here over the years, and I've seen it firsthand.
Amazing. No, I have a few questions about you.
Yeah.
Talking about psychology, we talked about F2. I have questions about Noa Matz.
Yeah.
It's gonna be weird, but they're important.
Okay.
Your favorite subject
Yeah.
from middle school or high school?
Ken. Well, that's kind of lame. But it was psychology.
Really? All the way back to middle school and high school?
Middle school is like Aleph ad Vav.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So yeah, we didn't took Aleph ad Vav. So I hated math.
Yeah.
I like literature. And then when we could take the התמחויות, I'm sorry, I don't know the English name.
The internships.
Internships. So it was psychology.
Amazing.
Yeah, sorry.
Who would be a role model? Somebody that inspires you in some way in this world?
Yeah. Do you have time to think?
Yeah.
I'll think about it. Because there are plenty. Well, actually, this is a weird answer, but music calms me down. Since I'm a very sensitive person, I get energy, I get emotions of other people in the room. I get things that I don't need to take, things that are useless for me, but it's just the way it is. So music helps me to cut myself from the world and recalibrate, and the best music artist that does that for me is Ivry Lieder.
Really?
So
wow.
I like, he's my person. Yeah, he's my person.
He watches every episode.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the last question, what are 3 words that if I were to ask you about yourself,
Yeah.
who is Noa Matz?
Yeah.
What characterizes you?
Well, I'm a free spirit.
Okay.
I'm a butterfly. My husband got this butterfly for me, and it's who I am. And I'm very energetic, and I'm very sensitive.
Butterfly, energetic and sensitive.
Yeah.
Noa, תודה רבה רבה.
תודה לך.
Wonderful. תודה.